Greetings. Happy Holy Thursday. How wonderful it is to be together with you, even though it's a video podcast, it's not live stream. We're still together on a Thursday. This information, this content, this time together will always be available to you on Thursdays. And it's Miracles with a Twist with my Miracles with a Twist family. Last week, we tried this new format and I got a lot of feedback from you all. Thank you for that. I got calls, texts, private messages, WhatsApp messages, and everybody seems to be good with it, except for the fact that we were missing our opening song. And you know what? I missed it too. So this isn't the most tech savvy way to present it to you, but it's sort of like back in the day when we were doing quarantine videos. I'm going to play it for you, and let's have a few moments listening to our beautiful song and the beautiful voice of Reverend Grace Telesco. Here's my heart, Lord. I know my more tech savvy friends are rolling their eyes right now, but hey, you know what? It's just all about being together and knowing how to turn it off when it's done. Let's do all right. Some things never change, right? It's just how it's been. For years, that's how it's been. Technology at its best is not me at my best. So let's spend this moment now in quiet, in prayer, and grounded in gratitude. Let's take a nice deep breath in. And we exhale into our hearts. Feel your heartbeat. Take a moment to just be connected one to another, heartbeat to heartbeat, giving thanks for this opportunity to be together, to be guided by the wisdom of this path, which advises us to daily start with the question, where do you want me to go? What do you want me to do? What do you want me to say and to whom? Guide me, direct me, use my voice, use my eyes, so that I can see all others as brothers and sisters, mighty companions and kindred spirits, that I might rise higher, pray harder, love steadily, and forgive readily. And knowing that in this season of light, we are even more determined, more dedicated, and more willing to be examples of that love and that light. For this and for so much more, beyond our understanding, and the peace that lies deep within, we give thanks. Amen. 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 And welcome, welcome, welcome. So glad to know that Thursday is still your holy day, and this time is sacred. This time together is sacred. So last week we began the section of the book called Song of Prayer. And there's several sections in that area of the book, which is a supplement for some of you. You might have that supplement. And the section is divided into three. The first section is prayer from the Course in Miracles perspective, which we discussed last week. Then the second section is forgiveness, and the third section is healing. So today we're going to look at the section on forgiveness. I wanted to start by saying this, reading this to you. Prayer is a ladder reaching up to heaven. At the top, there is a transformation much like your own, for prayer is a part of you. The things of earth are left behind, all unremembered. There is no asking, for there is no lack. We identify with Christ in full recognition, set forever, beyond all change and incorruptible. Now our prayer rises at a song of thanks. So as we said last week, prayer from a Course perspective is about union and communion, union with our Creator and communion with one another. And although we often pray for things to be a certain way and to go a certain way, the ultimate absolute prayer is the prayer that is constantly a part of us. Our thoughts are prayers. Our way of being is a prayer. Our interactions with each other is a prayer. All that we do is a prayer. The universe is our scripture. As we interact with the universe, we interact prayerfully, with a prayer to be of service, to have a mindset of forgiveness and kindness and compassion. And so today we're going to talk about forgiveness from the Course perspective, but specifically a section that's called Forgiveness to Destroy. Now, this is really important. This is a really important part because, you know, nowadays we talk about something that's referred to as spiritual bypassing. And that term wasn't used back then, but I believe that that's what this is saying here. So when we talk about spiritual bypassing, it's kind of like we using spirituality to our advantage to proclaim ourselves being higher up on the scale of evolution than others, and in a statement of judgment that I'm better than you because I do this, that, or the other thing. Or we say one thing and we do the other, which, you know, we can't even judge ourselves. We have to just be discerning around how we're living our lives. And we have to be rigorously honest with ourselves about how we're living our lives. Am I striving to do what I say my standards are? And if I don't, am I willing to look at the areas that are in need of correction? That's what true honesty is. Spiritual bypassing, or forgiveness to destroy, is when we use what we know spiritually to judge, condemn, avoid that level of honesty. So let me read this for you, how it starts out, and then we'll give you some examples. It says, forgiveness to destroy has many forms. It is a weapon in the world of form. It may not be obvious, and some are carefully concealed beneath what may seem like charity, right? The charity of me forgiving you. Wow, aren't I so amazing that I've taken the time out of my high and mighty self to judge you and then to decide that I can forgive you. Who am I to do that? Who are any of us to do that? That's not our place. That's not our place to do that. Now, we might find that in a personal relationship or in a situation where we might want to say, I've really gotten to a place of forgiveness within my heart. It's because I was feeling a certain way. I was feeling hurt or betrayed or angry. And I've gotten to a place within myself where I can find peace. And as a result, I am extending that peace to you. And it may be a sense of pardoning the energy between us that was hardened. You know, I have wonderful examples. I'm doing a workshop in January called Quantum Forgiveness. If you're interested in that, let me know. And we are using the word forgiveness as something that we see as an opportunity to remove the walls of judgment and anger, condemnation between ourselves and someone else. That doesn't mean that we pardon behavior. It means that we find peace within ourselves regardless of the behavior of others. And that is what the Course is telling us, that is our birthright. That is our, when we say I am striving for the will of God, well, God's will for you is happiness and peace. And so if we're striving for the will of God, then we're not using what has occurred in the past as the light at which we condemn someone else's behavior, that we shine that light on our brother's badness, you know, that we've determined is bad, that we decide has to be seen as worthy of condemnation. You know, and maybe on an earthly way, you know, if there's some legal intervention that's needed or something like that is beyond you, then it is beyond you. Your hands do not have to be a part of it. You don't have to be involved in anything that is beyond your striving on a spiritual level to achieve peace within. That this is where you find yourself a little bit in a outside looking in at the world of form. Remember, we've talked often about being outside the battleground, above the battleground, not above in a haughty way, like I'm above all this, but outside looking in at it, a witness to it. Thoughts without a thinker, that from a Buddhist perspective is how do we step outside our attachment to how we think things should be or how we think people should be in order for us to find peace. We do that as a witness to ourselves, a witness to the extent that we have invested in someone else's behavior, as opposed to focusing in on our own internal willingness to find peace between ourselves and someone else. It goes on to say this: forgiveness here rests, now meaning forgiveness to destroy, forgiveness in that I'm better than you sort of way. Forgiveness in that way rests on an attitude of gracious lordliness, so far from love that no level of arrogance could be dislodged. So, okay, confession, I have to confess here, when I didn't know what lordliness was, and so I actually thought, like for the first time, that there was a typo in the Course. And so I had to go look it up. So I looked up lordliness, and this is the definition. A manner or conduct of being overbearing with pride, evidenced by a superior manner towards someone considered inferior. Haughtiness, high-handedness, arrogance. So it's saying if you get to that level of arrogance, you may not be able to dislodge it if you're going to live on that level of high-mindedness. I'll give you an example. I just thought of this, and well, it's going to sound judgmental because I guess it is. I look at a couple of different forums on Facebook where people talk about different topics related to either A Course in Miracles or spirituality in general. And there was this one, and it's far back enough that I can't remember exactly what the topic was, but somebody said that it wasn't their place to judge where another person was on their spiritual path. And I was like, yes, that's true. I agree with you. But then they said, and how arrogant of me to think that I can pull them up to where I am. And here's my judgment comes in. Here's where my judgment comes in. I thought The best part of that paragraph would have been to stop at how arrogant of me, period. Because if you're going to sit in judgment of someone else and decide that they're not where you are because you think you're better than them or higher than them or vibing at another place where you think they should be, what are you really saying? You're saying you're down there, I'm up here, and oh, wasn't it arrogant of me to try and pull you up? It was arrogant of you to think you could. It was arrogant of you to think you could judge that person and determine where they need to be based on where you are. Because you know what? They are exactly where they need. What we really need to do is not judge. Everybody is exactly where they need to be. And if somebody is not where you think they should be, in order for you to feel more connected to them, then you respond with love. You respond with compassion. You say, what is the loving response to that person? What would be the most loving thing to do? What is the most compassionate thing we can do with any of our brothers and sisters is to notice who they are as beloved and divine. And maybe the exact moment in time is not how you want them to be. It's still not your place to judge them. It's just our place to love them. It's our place to love them and to notice if there's a cry for help, if there's a cry for love, if there's a recognition that we are all moving at our own pace and that it's not linear. There's nothing linear about the bumpy road to enlightenment. It's bumpy. We go 2 steps forward, we go 1 step back. There may be some areas of our life where we're really completely in line with all our standards and our belief system. And there may be other areas where we just fall away. Nobody is watching you 24 hours a day. You watch you. You know you. You know there's times and places where you don't know yourself to be your best self. And that's okay. You can still have compassion, have the willingness to make the corrections within yourself. This course is all about being loving, not judging, not judging. So yeah, it is arrogant. It is lordliness. It is forgiveness to destroy. If you decide how someone else has to be, and then say, well, I'm going to forgive you for not being as highly evolved as me. No, that's not what this is all about. This is simply about the depth of our hearts. How deep can I go into my heart? That doesn't mean I have to live with you. Doesn't mean I have to be with someone in life in an intimate way or even to work together. It means that no matter how close or distant we are to each other, we look through Christ consciousness. We look through the eyes that are given to us when we close our physical outer eye. When we close our physical outer eye, we reach for the eyes of Christ, the eyes of Shiva, the eyes of Buddha, the eyes of Mother Mary, the eyes of Guadalupe, the eyes that look upon our brothers and sisters and see their light, see their love, see their capacity. Not for us to judge them, not ever. That is forgiveness to destroy. Because in a way, you know, when I read that post, my first thought was, who are you trying to hurt? Who's going to read that and be hurt by that? We have to be rigorously honest with ourselves. Let's not hurt each other. If we start every day with a willingness to be truly just raw in our love, just raw. And you know as well as I do that even on our best days with the best of intentions, we can go from being Mother Teresa to the Wicked Witch, all in the turn of a perception. And so if we know we have that capability to be unkind or to be judgmental, then let's not use what we do know to manipulate our perception of others or even to manipulate others. We have to be truly rigorously honest. Am I being kind? Am I being compassionate? Am I recognizing the brother or the sister that stands before me? And you know what? We all want the same thing. So if we all want peace, if we all want to truly deeply live from a place of lovingness and peacefulness, then we know that that's where other people are coming from as well. That's what they want. We all want it. There's no one who doesn't. I guarantee you, whether it's someone you decide is narcissistic or evil, whatever word you use, I guarantee you that whatever behavior they're exhibiting comes from something that has not yet found peace, someplace or something within them that has not yet found peace. So what does that mean? It's a cry for love. It's a call for love. And it's not for us to do anything other than to recognize that. You don't have to be in their physical space. You don't have to be driving in the car through life with them. But you do, if you want to truly, honestly, be who you say you are from a spiritual perspective, then let's just love each other. Not forgiveness to destroy, but forgiveness to enhance our own hearts. Forgiveness to expand our minds. Forgiveness to enhance, to grow together, not to destroy each other. Let's not use anything we know to hurt each other. If you say anything, write anything, post anything that you know somebody's going to see and feel bad about themselves as a result, then maybe it's time to just think twice about it. Make a correction. That's all we need to do. We just need to make corrections. What is my true intention? What am I truly trying to accomplish here? And if it's not love, then it's not necessary. If it's not love, it's not necessary. Let's see, what else do we want to talk about here? This is a really beautiful paragraph here that I wanted to read to you. It says, forgiveness has a teacher who will fail in nothing. Rest a while in this. Do not attempt to judge forgiveness, nor to set it in an earthly frame. Why? Because when we think about forgiveness in an earthly frame, we think about good guys and bad guys. But wait a minute, that was bad. I was hurt. I was betrayed. I have a right to justice. That's the earthly frame. It's asking us to, even if for a moment, can we step outside of that? Can we step and go to a depth within ourselves, a depth within the very spirit that breathed life into you, so that we can try to have this holy instant of connection and understanding of who we really are and who everyone else really is beyond the earthly form. So it says, I'll read that again. Rest a while. Do not attempt to judge forgiveness set in an earthly frame. Let it rise to Christ, who welcomes it as a gift. He will not leave you comfortless, nor fail to send his angels down to answer you in his own name. He stands beside the door to which forgiveness is the only key. Wow, think of it that way. Forgiveness is the key to open this door to peace, to open a door to your true sense of connection with the depth of your very own spirit. You know, there's so many things that that hurt us, right? We have human interaction, and we have things beyond our control. We have death and dying. You know, this year, I've said it so many times since the beginning of the year, all the death and dying that we've experienced in our personal lives here, and the Miracles with a Twist family, and the Sacred Journey family, and my personal family. I mean, just there's been a lot. And when I think in terms of finding peace, I have to think in terms of beyond the earth frame. Beyond the earth frame that we look through and we see our experiences. Well, this is what's happened. And how do we step outside of the victim mentality or the anguish, the heartache, whatever it is. And what I thought of, and this might seem a little bit strange, but I was thinking about an episode of Criminal Minds. You know, a couple of years ago, I was really into Criminal Minds, and I think it was during COVID, right? During isolation, and everybody was live streaming, not live streaming, what we do, binging. We were binging shows, and someone told me about Criminal Minds. I said, oh, that sounds fascinating, because I love the analysis of human behavior. So I started watching it, and I was loving how they, would profile and all that. And there was this one episode where a woman was in the hospital with her daughter, and her husband had been killed, and the daughter was not killed, but the daughter was in the hospital. Was it daughter or son? I don't know, child. And one of the FBI agents said to her, do you ever have that moment first thing in the morning where you forget everything horrible that happened? And she said, yeah, I do. And he said, it's like our subconscious mind and our conscious mind have this agreement that for just this moment, you can forget everything and be at peace. And I thought, that's what the holy instant is. That's what the holy instant is. It's this opportunity to step outside the blood and guts of our lives, to step outside of it, even if for a moment. And in that moment, in that holy instant, we are suspended from our heartache, from our pain, from our judgments. And in that moment, we can have complete and total forgiveness of life, of our own self, of our judgments, of our condemnation of ourself and others. And remember, in that moment of forgetting the earth plane, the earth frame, the earth circumstances, that there's something so much more for us that is beyond this. And what it is a place of peace. It's the opening of the door. Forgiveness is the key. Opening of the door into, even if it's just for a moment, that remembering of peace, that remembering of who we are and who everyone else is. That's all I wanted to tell you for today. I want you to, if you have a chance, to look at the Song of Prayer, if you have it in your supplements, and to read Forgiveness to Destroy. And let's not do that anymore. Let's decide together that we're going to go into this new year understanding that forgiveness is the key to our peace. It's our key to connecting the depth of the truth of who we are, and not to use spiritual bypassing, not to use forgiveness to destroy, not to use anything other than rigorous honesty and willingness and dedication to this very sacred path that tells us that it's not our place to judge anyone. It is our place to be willing to love in a mindset, perception, miraculous mindset. That's what the miracle is, right? The change of thinking from anything that's not loving to a loving way of seeing and being. There's a part in the Course that says that we can step into the vision of Christ. The vision of Christ is simply the way of seeing each other as light and love. You know, it's like that scene from The Shack. If anybody saw The Shack years ago, this guy was tormented by his daughter's murder. Wouldn't any of us be? And how he goes into this altered state, and he ends up meeting Jesus and God and Holy Spirit. And they take him to this field where he's overlooking this field, and all he sees is these beams of light. And he looks closely, and it's people from his past. It's people from the world of form, and possibly even the murderer. And he says, what am I looking at? And they tell him, well, that's how we see you. That's how we see all of you. So maybe it seems like a tall task. And there's plenty of times when I find it to be a tall task. And so that's why I'm here with you, taking these same steps toward the recognition that that is truly what forgiveness is all about. the reaching for peace, but to do it with true, sincere kindness, compassion, and honesty. So we're going to do that together. Yes. I have an end prayer that is not from the course today. It's because yesterday was the winter solstice. And I was reading about all the different holy days that have entered into the season. This auspicious joining of all the different holy days and holidays that focus on light, that focus on the light that we are, the light that comes, the light that goes, the light that moves through us. And solstice, winter solstice, is honored by the indigenous people, by the Wiccans, the people of the goddess. And yet it's all very mystical because it's all a recognition of light. And I love the goddess Wiccan and earthbound religions, what we call the earthbound religions of the indigenous people, because they're in constant communion with the earth, the sky, and with each other, and the constant recognition of the fact that we are on this earth to be each other's. We are on this earth to serve each other. And so I found this prayer and I wanted to share it with you. This is called a medicine woman's prayer. And it says, I will not rescue you, for you are not powerless. I will not fix you, for you are not broken. I will not heal you, for I see you in your wholeness. I will walk with you through the darkness as you remember your light. How is that not A Course in Miracles? How is that not every single faith path that reminds us that we are here for mystical purposes? And so we join together to be in that light, to remember the light. You are the light, and I walk with you in that light. So bless you. Happy holidays. I'll see you next week.